All right. It's about 3 p.m. Saturday, March 15th. You know, I don't do this very often, but there is actual breaking news. Uh, Donald Trump this afternoon invoked the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, just hours after a federal judge issued an urgent ruling temporarily blocking the removal from the United States of 5 Venezuelans. President Trump invoked the rarely used. I mean, the okay. The Alien Enemies Act of 1798 has been invoked 3 times before today, during I think the War of 1812 and World War One and World War Two. Famously, during World War Two, it was invoked as the basis by FDR to have internment camps within the United States for Japanese Americans. I learned a lot about the history of that several years ago in diving into the history of the Fillmore district in San Francisco, which was not far from where I lived at the time, and which is now very famously an African American part of San Francisco. Some amazing music venues throughout there, like the Boom Boom Room, and there was Yoshi's for a while, jazz clubs, and a tremendously vibrant African American community. Prior to that, it was a Japanese American community, and then during World War II, the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 was invoked, and pretty much every single Japanese American person who lived in the Fillmore district in San Francisco was put into an internment camp. So this has some local significance to me. Donald Trump is doing this in response to a Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua, who I guess he is alleging they are being sent here by the Venezuelan government to invade the United States. Apparently, the federal government has 300 members of this Venezuelan gang in custody currently. I'm trying to figure out more about what so this is an executive order. The order landed amid a scramble in multiple federal courts by foreign nationals who sued to block their imminent deportations. They were told were being initiated pursuant to Trump's anticipated order. This order directs Attorney General Pam Bondi to sign a letter within 60 days declaring this the policy of the United States, and for that letter to be sent to every federal judge, including justices on the Supreme Court, as well as the governor of every single state. Every immigrant that meets the description outlined in the order, quote, are subject to immediate apprehension, detention, and removal. It is not clear how many members of the gang Tren de Aragua are currently in the United States or how the government will make such designations. Yeah. Trump repeatedly suggested during his campaign that he would invoke this law amid his mass deportation plans, which haven't been going very well. He hasn't been getting the numbers that he wanted. But he mentioned this yesterday at his speech at the Justice Department yesterday. We'll be reading a lot of stories tomorrow about how we've done with this gang. You'll be very impressed and you'll feel a lot safer because they're a vicious group. However, hours before the president's proclamation was issued online, U.S. District Judge James Boasberg, Boasberg, issued an urgent ruling blocking the deportations of 5 Venezuelans. He cited exigent circumstances, issuing his order just hours after a lawsuit was filed on behalf of 5 Venezuelan men who say they've been queued up for deportation within hours or days as a result of Trump's expected decision to invoke this law, the Alien Enemies Act. Boasberg is the chief judge for the federal district court in Washington, D.C. He also called for a hearing Saturday afternoon on the lawsuit's effort to ensure anyone else targeted by Trump's expected invocation of this law is protected from immediate deportation. That lawsuit was filed by Democracy Forward and the ACLU, emphasizing that the Alien Enemies Act has only been invoked during the War of 1812, World War I, and World War II. So, I guess we'll see how this is going to progress. The Trump administration quickly filed an appeal on Saturday with the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals asking for an emergency stay of Boasberg's ruling. That request is pending. And the prevention of the deportation of these 5 Venezuelan men is on hold for 14 days to allow for further procedures. So nobody is in favor of having an allegedly violent Venezuelan gang present in the United States. But this is the Trump administration. So I would imagine they're just going to take every single Venezuelan they find and determine, quote unquote, that they're a member of this gang so that they can deport them. But there's going to be a lot more developments on this one.